Hello, welcome to the show. Thank you for joining us. I am Dai Chang in Hanoi, and let's see what we have for you in this bulletin. Recent airline embargo in Ukraine affects Vietnamese community living in the country. And Vietnam Museum of Ethnology, 20 years of development. We're going to begin with some updates on economic news. Textile and garment exports to the U.S. are likely to reach $11 billion this year, up 13% compared to 2014. The figure may double after the signing of the Trans-Pacific Partnership or TPP agreement, which will benefit businesses with tariff cuts for imports. Currently, Vietnam's garment and textile products are levied import duties of 15 to 16%. However, the taxes will be kept down to 7 to 8% after the country joined the TPP and the products meet the requirements of origin. Currently, the U.S. is the biggest importer of Vietnamese garment and textile products, consuming about half of the total export. Garment and textile exports to the U.S. have increased sharply over the past 2 decades. Meanwhile, fish export turnover as of the end of September fell by 9.3% compared to the same period in 2014, according to Vietnam General Department of Customs. Exports of the Vietnam's fish to the European Union and the U.S. have been on the decline since the beginning of the year. The drop in the EU was 16.1%, while this figure in the U.S. is 3.2%. Meanwhile, in contrast, there has been a sharp increase in China and Hong Kong, both making up 49.1% and continuing an upward trend since the beginning of the year. As of this October, there have been 203 Vietnamese companies registering for fish exports, making 740,000 tons of exported products. China and Hong Kong constitute the biggest market for Vietnamese fish, followed by the EU, ASEAN, and the United States. Now, after unsuccessful negotiations between Russia and Ukraine, direct flights between the two countries were stopped from October 24th. Previously, Ukraine announced that it would not allow Russian airplanes to fly across its airspace from October 25th. The Russian capital of Moscow also did the same. The embargo has influenced about 70,000 passengers each month, including Vietnamese in Ukraine. And we have a lot more in the following.
Vietnamese people in Kharkiv city, Ukraine, have been worried since the beginning of October as they heard the news that direct flights between Russia and Ukraine would cease. Like Ukrainians, Vietnamese usually buy tickets from Russian airlines such as Aeroflot. Some of them, like Nam, have bought tickets for several months to return to Vietnam at the end of the year.
Actually, I do not want to return or change tickets because I'm familiar with this flight. Now I hope that the airline will refund my money.
Although Aeroflot supported passengers in cancelling and switching flights to airports in Europe, Vietnamese people still face an inconvenience.
In order to reach Moscow from Ukraine, passengers have to shift many times for different flights. It is very complicated and a waste of time. Passengers also have to have visas.
In order to return to Hanoi or Ho Chi Minh City, flights from Ukraine to Bangkok or flights from Turkey and the United Arab Emirates are also in consideration for several Vietnamese. However, those flights take longer and are more expensive compared to those of Aeroflot.
Exotic Vietnam is an intriguing blend of many charms. This land is where all manner of stunning landscapes await like a visual feast, rivaled only by the beauty of its people and their abundantly rich tradition and culture. Here is where you can relive the past in richest color or live it up in the bright lights of the big city. With so much more to offer, Vietnam is simply unforgettable.
You're watching VTV News. Now, the Vietnamese embassy in Singapore participated in the diplomatic charity bazaar 2015 held on October 24th. The fair was jointly held by embassies and diplomatic delegations in Singapore. It aimed to raise funds for Singaporean children and to celebrate its 50th anniversary of independence. Let's find out more in the following. The Diplomatic Charity Bazaar 2015 received the attendance of 44 embassies and diplomatic delegations in Singapore. At the fair, visitors could enjoy dishes from different countries. Moreover, handicraft products including Vietnamese áo dài and conical hats attracted visitors.
The Vietnamese embassy in Singapore is actively involved in the event. Despite difficulties, the embassy tried to collect items which feature Vietnam to introduce the country to visitors and to have contributed to charity activities of Singapore.
At the fair, each country also brought art performances such as yoga from India, Haitian dance from France, Hati Seneng from Malaysia, or Chom Cơm or rice drum dance from Vietnam.
I'm really pleased with the turnout. I mean, this is the first time this has been done. So to be honest with you, before arriving today, I wasn't sure exactly how many people would be here. But to see this place packed.
Embassies agreed to try to hold this event annually. Next year, the fair will be organized in a different place so that Singaporean people can go to the fair. Charity activities then can be stimulated.
All money from the fair will be given to children's support funds in Singapore. Reaching its main goal, the fair also became a place for cultural exchange and contributed to promoting solidarity among foreign people in Singapore. Now, Vietnam will have 10% of its social activities nationwide publicized on the Internet by 2017, according to the Vietnam Internet Association. This aims to promote the Internet's friendliness in life and the formation of IoT, or Internet of Things. IoT is the globally used tech-speak for the proliferation of connectivity and electronic functionality in everyday items, which will generate hundreds of billions of dollars in revenue in coming years. It is expected to draw the participation of media companies, software, and internet solutions companies. The Vietnam Internet Association expected that by 2020, 50 to 60% of households and individuals in Vietnam will have broadband internet, promoting the application of internet in life, particularly in education, health, and public services. The Vietnam Museum of Ethnology celebrated its 20th anniversary and received first-class label order in Hanoi on October 24th. In 2014, the museum was ranked 4th among the 25 most attractive museums in Asia by tourism webpage TripAdvisor. Over 20 years, the museum has showcased different items and held several cultural activities, making it an attraction for tourists in Hanoi. And more to follow.
The Vietnam Museum of Ethnology includes indoor and outdoor showcases. The outdoor part has 10 houses of ethnic people in Vietnam, such as Cham and King people. Visiting this house, tourists have the chance to explore cultures of different ethnic groups in Vietnam.
It's the first time I see a house museum. I have never seen another thing like this. It's very interesting to see how different can be the houses, how many different kind of houses there can be in a closed territory.
Visiting the museum, I want to learn about the history of ethnic people in Vietnam. I also want to take my children here every weekend to discover Vietnam culture through real artifacts.
Besides displaying items and documents about Vietnam's ethnic people, the museum has cooperated with other museums to introduce various Southeast Asian cultures to visitors.
We want to take Vietnamese and international visitors to this showcase. Vietnamese people who haven't gone abroad can have the opportunity to know more about the cultures of other countries.
Established in 1995, the Vietnam Museum of Ethnology has attracted nearly 4.5 million domestic and foreign visitors. At its 20th anniversary ceremony, the museum received first-class labor order. This is recognition for its contribution to Vietnam culture conservation.
An event showcasing the refined art of the Japanese tea ceremony has been held in Hanoi on October 24th at Hanoi Law University. The event saw the participation of well-known Japanese tea master Sen Yenshi-tu and was organized by the Embassy of Japan in Hanoi and the Urasenke Tea Center. During the event, participants had a chance to experience the spirit of Japan's tea ceremony and try the tea prepared by Master Sen Yenshi-tu himself. Tea ceremony is a Japanese art founded in the 15th century and has become a vital part of Japan's traditions. And as always, just before we say goodbye, let's take a look at our updated weather forecast. And that's also a wrap for today's English news updates. For more news and updates, please log on to vtv4.vn or youtube.com/vtv4go. From our team here in Hanoi, until next time.